Hello, welcome to Business Reporters, the Best of British Business campaign. I'm Ashley Blake. By the end of June 2025, 1,550,000 fully electric cars are on the roads in the UK. And this number is growing as car brands improve technology and customer services. They can offer a broader range that can appeal to more and more households. Flavian Alexandru, the co-founder and CEO of Hypervolt, a game-changing EV charging technology firm from the UK, believes that growing sales of EVs fit into broader economic and technological and cultural trends. But what are these trends? Should we be optimistic about them? Let's get Flavian's take on this. When it comes to a conversation about EV, infrastructure and charging always come quite high in the list. So what are the most significant engineering bottlenecks have you identified?
There's two things. One is I would imagine, more obvious one, which is how do you scale manufacturing of all the electronic components? How do you design to manufacture? Because as it turns out, hardware is kind of this unexpected thing where to manufacture 100 of something, you have a very different technique than to manufacture 100,000 of something. And so really the onus on us is to go through that journey as quickly and efficiently as possible, right? Put an idea out there. Do you like the product? Do you like what it looks like? Is it the right shape and color? Like all those fine details. And then invest in scaling the engineering, scaling through the manufacturing journey, picking the right technology at every stage, making the right upfront investments, whether it's in tooling or the right plastic compounds so that the product still looks good on your house 4 years later. Like there's all these teeny tiny details that we want to make sure are just right. Some of those things you only learn by doing. And I think the second one, which is maybe more surprising, but probably a lot of what we do at Hypervolt, is you really have to scale your software infrastructure because all of the great benefits that we're able to provide to our customers are based on a very, very advanced, I would say, ability to have real-time monitoring, advanced visibility, advanced control of these chargers through a digital cloud platform. And a lot of the effort we spend is to how do we make that affordable? How do we make that as scalable as possible? Because if we put a box in your house, we're not collecting a fee like a Skybox. We got to be quite careful. We got to be quite good at pricing that in. Like how much is it going to cost us to offer you this great value for another 3, 5, 7 years? Those I think are the big ones. And then third is how do you integrate and immerse yourself into this ecosystem? Because, okay, sure, you made a product, but in order to create this great value for your customers, you got to work with the retailers, you got to work with the DNOs, you got to work with National Grid, you got to work with the balancing mechanism. There's all this value to just being integrated as a player and being a great partner, not just to your end customers, but also to the existing ecosystem within the electricity market.
I see. How do you evaluate trade-offs between hardware technology, software flexibility, and end-user price?
It's one of the most fundamental equations we think about at Hypervolt. First of all, hardware is this very interesting thing because it can create a perverse incentive, and we've seen it in other companies. We try very, very hard to avoid it. And the perverse incentive is, look, the money it costs to make a product might be roughly equivalent to the cost of getting it on your wall. We got to be really careful there because if we cheap out, quote unquote, right, the risk is we're now liable to send someone to your house. So does it really make sense, right? Does it really make sense to make the hardware as cheap as possible? No, it makes sense to invest in making the hardware as reliable as possible, giving you the best monitoring. And it turns out that's kind of better for everyone. You get a better customer experience and we get a better company out of it. Not to mention reputational benefit and all these other great things. And so on hardware, we don't take it lightly, but what I'd like to say is we move in very healthy steps, right? We've been that kind of company that, like, if we really mean business about being here in 20, 25 years, that's a pretty big decision, right? We take it in the spirit of we'd really like to play a big role in the revolution. We know we might do well on a personal level out of that, but that's not the driver. The driver has to be correlated with long-term success. So that's kind of the driving factor. It's reputational, it's reliability. Software is the interesting denominator. And software has kind of the same consequence on what we call the BOM cost, or like the ingredients in the recipe. What's the total cost of all the electronics and plastics and everything we put there? Well, software doesn't register on the menu, right? You put a chip, you put some RAM, you have a computer, you can run stuff on it. But it turns out the difference between average to best in software is 100 to 1. It's got this incredible particularity in the world where if you really find that the most talented people, they're almost like artists, they're almost like poets. You know, you can't like get 5 poets to write one Lord Byron canto. Right? You need Lord Byron. And software really is like that. And what it means is if you're really good at it and if you really invest in it, if you really take it seriously as a discipline, as a culture of a company, you can create this amazing benefit. And so software is really like the core DNA. We want to package it in the most beautiful box, and we want that box to be reliable and work, but the magic of what you're buying is all in the software.
In order for your company, Hypervolt, to be successful, there's going to be a huge demand on the UK grid, which is already struggling. Mm-hmm. How do you mitigate that?
Yeah, I think Hypervolt doesn't do that alone, but I would like to say that actually the core product, and it really surprises people, core product that Hypervolt makes is the software platform. It's UltraGrid. And UltraGrid is fundamentally a smart meter times a million, right? It's like the most advanced smart meter you've ever seen. It streams 100,000 monitoring events every day from every household, from every connected box. And it allows grid operators, energy retailers, and customers to all kind of come together in this real-time dynamic trading system that does what? It means we use energy in the most optimal way possible. It means your car charges automatically at the best possible times. In a vehicle-to-grid world, it means we can loop together 1 million EVs or millions of EVs and help the grid real time, right? So eventually, actually, energy transition is going to be a hugely positive thing on not just like grid balancing, but also grid independence. Right? The UK right now takes a lot of power from other countries. Imagine if we just took power from the 38 million car fleet, that most of which is sitting parked. What if we could just do that? And I look forward to the day where we can do that. In the meantime, Hypervolt's working very closely with very, very talented people and companies all across the ecosystem, whether it's Octopus Energy and Kraken, OVO and Kaluza, EDF and their platform Dreeve, whether it's DNOs and DSOs and UKPN, all the wonderful partners that we have across the ecosystem that we talk to build these solutions. Whether it's National Grid investing in there's talk about like higher KVA, like higher power or higher throughput, I would say transmission lines. This is not a one and done mission. It's not a one-man band mission. It's an entire ecosystem that's kind of coming together to fuel this massive energy transition.
I see. And what are the commercial benefits or consequences of providing an at-home charging system as opposed to a grid system, a network of charging points?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of multivariate benefits. So number one is this transformative effect that it has on your home to take it from a static, traditionally a static consumer of electricity, because electricity consumption wasn't so much a hot topic, right? People have been careful about it, but I think this transition is empowering them with this new technology, part of which Hypervolt is bringing to the table, to really be on a really cool autopilot. I always say like the mission of Hypervolt is to be like the Nest thermostat for the grid. And so you go to your car, you charge it, you use it as you use it, and based on those patterns with our network of partners, we kind of automatically make the magic happen for it. The big commercial consequence is quite simple. You will save a lot of money as an end customer. So on average, it's over £1,000 cheaper per year versus a petrol car. And a smart tariff, it's £500 cheaper than a regular energy tariff, right? So you're kind of trusting us to pick when to charge and get you places safely and make sure your battery's at the right level of charge for your needs. But you also get this economic exchange, right? So the commercial consequence is really good. And I think the other profound consequence that we're going to see over time is we're going to have cheaper energy prices across the board, right? As we move to vehicle to grid, the value of a residential property, the value of a home to the grid is going to triple, or it's estimated to be between 2.5 and 3 times higher. And so a lot of the programs we're seeing being offered by our energy retail partners are even drive for free. So you no longer pay to drive around, which is just incredible. That's what we're going to see, hopefully, over the years ahead.
Flavian Alexandru, co-founder and CEO of Hypervolt.